So I love to hear where you are, in what countries you are. I am in the north of Norway with a wonderful view. I'm going to share this so you might be able to see. This is from my kitchen window. And I'm above the Arctic Circle, so it's really far way up north in Norway, but it's also very warm. It's very warm. Okay, so okay, let me just check that I am live on the Facebook page. Either my computer or the internet is a bit too slow today. So yes, it's streaming live. Okay. So we have Wendy in the Netherlands, Lydia is from Holland, Elke is in Belgium, Janne is in Copenhagen, Helena, you are in the US. I think you're, yeah, in the US. Okay, there's a lot of people wanting to join this evening. That's great. Okay. It's 1 minute until it's 7 o'clock. And okay, so some practical information. Like I said, it's very warm here at the moment. It's 34 degrees Celsius, which is very warm to be in the north of Norway. And as many of you know, I have 3 dogs. One of them, my golden retriever, she's a senior dog and she's really struggling with the heat, which means that I have tried to postpone my groceries shopping for 3 days now because it's just too warm to go for the long drive. I live 40 minutes drive from the nearest grocery store. But tonight I absolutely need to do my grocery shopping, which means that we have to finish by 8:30. So this webinar is going to be for approximately 1 hour and 30 minutes, depending on how many questions there are. But really, I need to go because I need to do my shopping. I have absolutely nothing left. So, okay, I'm just admitting a lot of people. Okay, good. It's 7 o'clock and we can start. So we have Lilia from Russia is here. Poland is here. Estonia, Lemme, hi. Great. So tonight I want to talk about puppies. I'm happy talking about puppies all the time, but puppies is very important. And yesterday, so Monday and Tuesday this week, I actually, maybe some of you did as well, I don't know, but I attended a 2-day course with Dr. Amber Batson, a British veterinarian, which was called Puppy Power, just to see if I missed anything from the last time I did some studies about puppies. And there's been a lot of new research, always. She also referred to research done as late as this year, 2021. And I'm very happy to say that the research is supporting whatever I am telling you in this webinar. This is a free webinar. This is not a course or anything. So I'm just going to tell you without even the links to the studies or anything. It's just a free webinar. If you want to learn more, there are different courses you can go to. I really do recommend, for those of you who are maybe working with dogs, I really recommend the Puppy Power course with Amber Batson, which was really, really good. And yeah, so let me find my PowerPoint. When we get the PowerPoint up here on the screen, I can't see the chat. That's how Zoom made it. So I can't see the chat. So I won't be answering any questions during my presentation, but afterwards, I'm happy to try to answer whatever questions you might have. So I'm going to share my screen so I can find my nice, I think it's a nice PowerPoint because it's a lot of photos from my own dogs. Oh, sorry. I have to start with the first page, don't I? Okay. So tonight we're going to talk about the young puppy, between when we get it home to our house, to its new family, so around 8 weeks old, up to 4 or 5 months old, so the young puppy. We are talking about, actually, we are calling dogs, Nordic dog trainer, are saying that dogs 5 months and older are already then starting their adolescence. So they are young dogs, teenage dogs. So this is then for the first period when you get your puppy home. I don't know if there's someone here who already just got a puppy or if you just want to learn some more about puppies, but okay, here we go. For those of you who don't know, I am Lisbeth Borg de Waard. I'm Norwegian. I have a Dutch surname because my father is Dutch. So I do understand Dutch, but I don't speak Dutch, unfortunately. It's a never-ending discussion with my father still. Anyhow, I live in Norway at the moment. I lived here for the past 20 years. I lived abroad for many, many years. I started Nordic Dog Trainer, the Norwegian school, 10 years ago. And a couple of years later, we went international. Actually, we started doing our dog trainer education in Estonia, in Tallinn. And now we are doing a lot more online. So now we have students or participants for our courses from more than 40 different countries, which is absolutely great. So I've been working full-time with dogs for 10 years. And I did my dog trainer education with Turi Drugos, the author of On Talking Terms with Dogs. It's a book about the dog's language, the calming signals. And I've had an interest in dogs for all my life, like most of you. At the moment, I have 3 dogs. My main personal interest is, how can you say, working with problem behavior. So I've had many dogs. In Norway, we don't have any shelters. If someone can't have their dog or for some reason want to rehome it, it's mostly done privately, not through a shelter. So I've had those kind of dogs with problem behavior that other people didn't want to have. And at the peak, I had 8 dogs. So now I have 3 dogs, 2 senior dogs, and Wilma on the picture, a Basset, who is 7. So soon, I think she will be more like a senior. But she's half the age of my 14-year-old Greyhound and my 11-year-old Golden Retriever. Okay, so it's 7 years ago since I had a puppy. That was Wilma. And the other day I spoke to a colleague of mine in Norway. Maybe you've heard about Annelill Kvam. She's a nosework specialist and an author as well. And she just got a puppy and we were laughing so hard because it's always very difficult to remember, or maybe we just try to forget how it's like having a puppy, because that's a lot of work and they have sharp, sharp teeth. And we were actually debating whether it's a good thing to have a puppy during the winter. It might not be a good idea here in Norway. It's cold and, a lot of snow and everything. So when you have to take the puppy outside, but then she said it would be equally bad, she experienced, when she got it in the summer, and you're wearing very little clothing, and the teeth are extremely sharp. So let's start. I'm using pictures, a lot of pictures from when I brought Wilma home 7 years ago. Or this was actually my cabin, my summer house, because that was closest to where the breeder lived. So I wanted to have the drive home as short as possible. So instead of a 5-hour drive, I had a 1.5-hour drive. That's why we took her to the cabin first. I think the most important thing is that the puppy is with the people that it's supposed to share its life with. It's not so much the environment. And everything is going to be new then anyhow. She was 8 weeks old when I got her. We are recommending waiting till the puppy is 9 or even 10 weeks or even 11 or 12. But studies are showing that it's better for the puppy to leave their mother at a later stage, at least 9 weeks, even 10 weeks. And they have some studies showing that you get less puppy biting because the mother is now then teaching the puppy instead of us. And dogs are teaching other dogs in a better way than we can ever teach them anything. Also, if the puppies or the dogs were street dogs, yeah, they didn't have any home with humans, they would stay much, much longer with their mother and their siblings. Studies show that they're staying on average until they are 13 or 14 months old with their mother and their siblings. Yeah, some of them can leave, but they won't leave until they're at least 5 months old from their family. So already now we are taking the puppy when they're only 2 months old, and they're taken away from everything they know. I have other dogs, so I think in my experience, it was easier when I had a puppy because I had the other dogs to help me raise the puppy. So when you get the puppy home, like with also if you have a shelter dog or an adult dog, really, I mean, this is exactly the same. I let them do exactly the same thing. I let them freely wander around to get to know the environment, their new environment. Because their new environment, can you imagine how much new noises, smells, stairs that seems too high? It's so many new things to a puppy. It's a lot of things happening. So a lot of puppy owners, including myself, though, when I had a puppy, 3-4 times I had a puppy. The first week, we have a tendency to think that, oh, we got the best puppy in the world. My puppy is only sleeping. It's really nice. It's not doing, not doing anything I don't want him to do, and it's very calm and relaxed. Most people have that impression because it takes at least a week for the puppy to get used to its new environment. And we already know that puppies that age, they might need to sleep as much as 20 hours a day. So no wonder the first week your puppy will be calm, cool, and collected. And it should be allowed to get to know its new home. So before you get the puppy, you make your house puppy proof. And let me explain what we think is the best way of making your house puppy proof. That is to take away everything that you don't want your puppy to eat or to chew. So shoes, your iPhone, whatever, even rugs, carpets, that you don't want your puppy to chew or pee on. But you have to replace them with something. First of all, you should replace your rugs with some cheap old rugs or really cheap rugs so that it's not slippery floors for puppies. That is important for their muscles and everything. And put a lot, I say, leave it messy. Have a mess at home, because the puppy needs to explore new things. And how do dogs do that? They don't have hands, so they have to explore things with their mouth. So they put things in their mouth to taste, to feel, to smell, to everything. And the more things, objects your dog is getting used to, the better it is for your dog. And puppies are curious, so they would very much want to do that. And I would also say, if you have a puppy that is a little bit careful, or if you're scared that your puppy is careful the first couple of days because it's maybe just overwhelmed, then let the puppy, first of all, choose where it wants to sleep, and then choose what to do, because this is very important. You want to build the puppy's confidence. And you don't do that by telling it what to do. Okay, so first week is really just getting used to the new home. If you have several dogs, what I do is I introduce the puppy to one dog at a time. So I've done this when I was single. So at the moment when I got Wilma on the pictures, I was married, so there were two of us. But I've done this mostly when I was single, and it's not a problem. I just took the puppy out from the car and took one by one dog out to meet, not all of them at once. I mean, wow, that's too much for your older dogs and for the puppy. So the first week or the first weeks, the first period, it should just get used to the routines, our language, especially if you don't have other dogs in your household. Now your dog is moving somewhere where the people are not necessarily understanding the dog. That's why it's so important that we read on talking terms with dogs, so we can understand its body language. And to teach the puppy our routines and good habits. So good habits in our world is not to steal food from the table. Some people don't want their dogs to jump on them, which is fine, you know, but that is all good habits, I think, good habits. So we establish good routines, like feeding routines, make sure you get the right amount of food, good nutrition, of course, always fresh water. And walks is not walks for your eight-week-old puppy. Puppies should not be going for a walk on leash until they're 3 months old. Actually, you can get them accustomed to wear the harness. We actually should get them accustomed to that. But you don't take your puppy out for a walk before it's 3 months old, and even then it's just for short walks on leash. We're going to talk more about that later as well. Also, your puppy would want to play, of course, and sleep, lots of sleep. And if you have children, you need to teach your children on how to behave around the puppy. You cannot expect the puppy to be used to children or even like children. Maybe they're a bit skeptical, maybe they're a bit scared. If they grew up somewhere or were born where there were no children, they have to get used to children. No puppies, no dogs are automatically child friendly. They have to get used to young humans, adult humans, and old humans. And importance of sleep, I want to take a few minutes to talk about this, because this is a very common problem with puppies as well, that they don't sleep enough or that their sleep is not of good quality. And this exact same thing is happening with puppies as with humans. If you don't get enough quality sleep, you get a bit strange in your head. You get overtired. You can get stressed. You have all kinds of behaviors showing, which is normally not very good. And after a while, it can actually be physical. But a lot of puppies, they're actually just overtired. And they become just like children. When they're just overtired, overexcited, they have experienced too much that day. You take your child, 3-year-old or 4-year-old, from a nice birthday party when they had a lot of sugar. Yeah, that's exactly how a puppy with not enough rest and sleep can get as well. So they need to feel safe when they sleep. So if you have, it's very important that they can choose where to sleep. And like I said, I think I wrote that on a PowerPoint coming up, how many hours a day they need to sleep. So feeling safe, you need to sleep together with your puppy. I mean, in the same room with your puppy when you bring it home, until your puppy is safe enough to sleep by its own. So whether you want to take your puppy into your bed, or if you want to take, if you want to sleep on the couch, or if you want to take your mattress and on the floor with the puppy, it doesn't matter. You need to sleep together in the same room with your puppy, because they need to feel safe when they sleep. So an 8-week-old puppy, 8, 9, 10, 12 weeks, 16 to 20 hours sleep and rest a day is normal. Actually, up till they're 9 months old, they can still need as much as 14 to 16 hours of rest and sleep a day. So they do need a lot of that. And they're social sleepers. So in order to get good quality sleep, first of all, is safety. Yeah. So we need to feel safe. And for your puppy, that would be to be in the same room as you. And they sleep 60% of their sleep, all dogs, not only puppies, but all dogs, is 40% during the day and 60% during the night. And for a puppy, it might have to go, not only might, but you will probably get a puppy that needs to go out to pee. It could be once, twice, or 3 times a night. It depends. It's individual. So they wake up during night, and that's normal for all dogs to do that. And they need to move around, and to be able to sleep in the places they choose to, they need to change maybe from a hot place, warm place, to a cooler place, hard surface to a softer surface, and so on. Studies also show that dogs prefer to sleep a little bit elevated from the floor. It doesn't have to be a lot, but a little bit. So that, it makes sense now that your puppy would like to be, your puppy and your adult dog would like to sleep on the couch next to you, elevated, safe, with you, social, and so on. So this is another puppy we had, a collie. You can see safe. Again, we had, I had Moses, a Rehorn Basset. He was 13 at the time, I think, 12 or 13, a very good parent for the puppy. He was extremely cool, calm, and collected, and helped the puppy out a lot. And again, this is Wilma, sleeping. So, socializing. Get to know humans, other dogs, and animals. So basically getting to know whatever other creatures they would interact with during their life. So for example, it's not that necessary for me to take my dogs to a zoo to socialize them with elephants, because we don't have many elephants, wild elephants here in Norway. But I have cats, so they had to socialize with cats. Maybe you have rabbits or guinea pigs or whatever it is. And of course, humans in all forms, shapes, heights, different voices, different everything. We are different, thank God. So that's why it's important. And just like I said, remember, no dogs, even though some books are actually saying that this breed is good for families with young children. Maybe you're lucky and you get a dog that the individual is very patient and good with children, but it's not necessarily, I mean, the thing that will happen. Every individual has to be socialized with humans and other dogs. So again, I was lucky at the time when I got, this is now when the collie, Huntley is his name, was a puppy, and I had other dogs, so they helped me raise him. And it's all about letting them choose. If the dogs can choose, they are very good at making the good decisions for themselves. Yeah. So socializing is not about running around Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, and so on, every day of the week to meet new people and new dogs. It can be too much. You have to leave a few days in between, because if not, you're overwhelming a very young puppy. It's just too much to take in. So you have to set up a little plan about that. This old fashioned, I remember in the 80s and 90s even, we got a list. If we went to a puppy class, you would get a list that in 30 days, your puppy should meet these kind of people, these kind of dogs. It should walk on at least 15 different surfaces, and so on and so on. I mean, that's just too much. That's the recipe for getting a stressed puppy that is very bad at relaxing and sleeping. And then you get a puppy that is biting even more, barking even more, peeing even more, and difficult to rest. Yeah. So keep a couple of days in between. Make sure to think about what you're doing with your puppy. Take your puppy, visit your friend, which is good socialization. Also for the puppy to see, experience a new place, new smells, and so on. But then remember, the next day, your puppy, okay, maybe we should stay at home and not do so much. You can have a friend coming over. You don't have to, like, isolate yourself, but don't have a party, okay? So no dogs are born child-friendly. We have to help them getting socialized with children as well. And we should, of course, have a focus on good and positive experiences for the puppy. There are good and bad things about this fear period that puppies have. They have a fear period when they're 8 weeks old, which means that they can be more scared than normal for things. So they have that when they're about 8 weeks old and 4.5 months old. Some dogs you can see it very clearly, and some dogs you don't notice it very much. But the thing is that if your dog is scared during that fear period, it gets scared, it gets frightened of something. Maybe it meets another dog who's not very friendly, or a child that was surprising the dog and touching the dog in a way the dog felt uncomfortable with. The fear can be stronger. So it can leave a bigger mark. On the good side, a young puppy is easy to train. It's easy to help them out of this. So you have to do something about it immediately. Don't wait and see if it just, passes by. So let's say your dog met another dog that was not very friendly. I'm not talking about a puppy getting attacked or anything like any severe cases. I mean, that's just some individual cases. You can, that's a whole other webinar, actually, that's problem solving. But if your puppy clearly got scared of something or another dog, if you don't see your puppy having any problems with other dogs after that, that's fine. Then it's not a problem, okay? So don't think automatically that your dog will have a problem, because some puppies, they're fine. Oh, okay, you were a bit strange, you were a bit stupid. Yeah, and some dogs are really like, oh, I got very scared. Then if you see that your dog is now a bit wary to other dogs when you meet them, then you need to do something about it immediately. And then it can take a couple of weeks to help your puppy getting less scared, or not at all scared actually, with other dogs. If you wait and you wait and you wait and you hope that it's just, something that will miraculously just pass, then you can end up working with this problem behavior for a whole year afterwards. If you wait until the puppy is now 9 months old, then it can take a year to work on the same problem. So I'm saying this to scare you a little bit because I want you to do something about it immediately. That's the good thing about puppies. So you are responsible for your dog, for your puppy. The mother is not there, the siblings, no one. So you are responsible. So you are responsible for what kind of dogs they meet, and what kind of people they meet, and how these dogs and people are treating your puppy. So that's meeting in controlled environments. If you think that something is not okay, if someone comes, because this happens all the time when you have a puppy and you take it somewhere, people would come and say, oh, what a cute puppy. Some are even rude enough to just lift your puppy. That's a no-no. You don't go lifting other people's puppies. I don't go around lifting people's babies, that they would call the police. I can't really compare those two things, but really, strictly, strangers should not be allowed to lift your puppy. And people you don't know, people you know even, should ask you if it's okay. And then what do you say? What should you tell them? You should look at your dog, because you should know a little bit about the calming signals, how the dog feels, because then it's so much easier for you to say, well, it looks like my puppy doesn't really want to be touched by you at the moment. I'm sorry. Or yes, go ahead, it's fine. So that's up to us. So socialization is to get used to all living beings, humans, other animals, and then we need to get help the puppy getting used to the environment they're going to live with in. They stayed with their breeder depending on how much the breeder did. You can have good and bad breeders. Some good breeders have already helped you with this job before you got it. So your dog has already been places. And other breeders have done nothing. So you get a dog that has only experienced a room in a barn or inside a house. So now you have to help him getting used to everything, things that moves, things that makes noises, things that smell strange, and so on. This is from our venue in Norway, where we have made this, playroom. This is where we had our puppy classes. We had two locations. Now we have one location in Norway. So we don't have this location anymore. These are old pictures. But in the other location, it's something similar. So this is where we had the puppy classes, 2 or 3 puppies. The owners were asked to sit down and not say very much. They were given a cup of coffee. And then we let the dogs explore and play a little bit. And they did some easy training for recall in the room and so on, recall, the attention sound, getting used to wearing a harness, getting used to us touching them, getting used to other people. We used to, so if there were 3 dogs and 3 owners, the owners would touch their puppies when they came to them, because it's really great, isn't it? They sit down and the puppies play around and they go, and because they're curious, they want to approach people. So they get to greet a lot of, or meet and greet new people during the puppy. That's actually what we think is a part of a puppy course, a puppy class. We don't teach sit and stay and lay down in puppy classes. Actually, we never teach sit in any classes, but that's again another webinar. Okay, you can make this kind of environment outside in your garden, or you can bring some objects to your a park close by, or to someone else's garden, or on the beach, anywhere. Make an enriched environment. So when the puppy have had enough, because they usually do, it doesn't take very long for a puppy to get tired. Their attention span is around 30 seconds for a very young puppy. So when your puppy has been doing a lot of fun things, it doesn't have to be bad things, but fun things like meeting other puppies or nice people, and they get too tired, this is what they do. They get more intense. They bite more with their very, very sharp teeth. They can start growling more. They do growl when they're playing. They play more intense. They can bark more. And when the puppy is old enough to go for very short walks on leash, a typical sign that your puppy is tired, that you've been walking too far or been outside for too long in that environment, is that the puppy is biting the leash. Then you can be quite sure that your puppy is just overtired. It's had enough. And this behavior is very common. They start humping other dogs, humping you, humping other people, legs, teddy bears, pillows, objects, whatever. Humping is a sign of stress and very, very frequent in puppies. So you should actually stop the play before any of the puppies start humping. Because when they're humping, or when they're now too stressed, it takes longer for them to rest, to sleep again. Yeah. So, and what we do want is an adult dog who feels safe and confident, who makes good choices for themselves. We don't want a nervous dog. So we have to train, or not train, that was really the wrong word, but we have to help or raise the puppy to become independent, being able to make good choices and feel safe and confident. And it makes sense, doesn't it? In order to be able to feel confident and to feel safe, you have to feel that in the environment you live in. So that's why you should let your puppy explore. Remember, I said in the beginning that you should actually leave a mess in your house, have a lot of things to chew, to smell, to play with, whatever. You can leave a shoe, an old shoe on the floor, to let the puppy chew that shoe. It does not mean that your puppy then learns that all shoes are available to chew. You have to put away the shoes you don't want your puppy to chew, but it's an old-fashioned belief. Well, we realize now that chewing on one shoe doesn't teach your dog that all shoes are allowed. So that's fine. And dogs, they love chewing on shoes for some reason. The smell of feet are very good to them. Let them explore different environments. but not every day a new different environment. Have a little rest in between. Tastes, smells, let them be curious. When you're making dinner and using spices, let the puppy smell some of the spices. If you open a drawer in your kitchen, at least in my kitchen, the bottom drawer is full of, it's a mess. It's where I have plastic bags and stuff I don't care about. So when I take out that drawer, I don't mind if my dogs are smelling, putting their nose into it. And it takes me a minute, or I can just leave it open. It's not a problem. Or you can stand there if you're afraid that they will take out a plastic bag. I understand that. You can stand there and wait until they're finished smelling. When you come home with your groceries in plastic bags or paper bags, yes, you can let the dog smell your groceries. I learned that the hard way. When I had 8 dogs, when I came home with the groceries, I actually carried the bags above my head. I was like, oh my God, all these dogs, they want to take my food. And then one day I thought, what if I just don't do that and let them smell? It's like, ching. And I did. I just stood still. This is typically when I came back from work and there was 8 happy dogs waiting for me. So I opened the door. They came out in the garden. I was there with the groceries and they all smelled them. And then they run out in the garden. It took maybe 20 seconds. And I was in control of the groceries. So they didn't steal the food in the bags. And it makes everything much more relaxed at home. And it helps your dog use its senses and everything. So let your dog be curious. If the dog lives or grows up in an environment where it's not allowed to do anything, like typically, no, don't do that, don't go there, don't, we are scared that the puppy might pee inside. Of course, I mean, we want to house train it. So, but then you take the puppy out instead. Don't say, no, don't go there and smell something because I'm afraid that you will pee. Yeah. So let them try out things and so on, and give them choices, places to rest and sleep where they choose. We can't choose for anyone where they like to sleep, and especially dogs, as we know now, they are by nature moving around when they're sleeping, not like us. We prefer, most of us at least, prefer to sleep in one place, in one comfortable bed that fits our body. A lot of dogs, they are sent to their bed, and the bed is decided by the human where it is in the house. So it can be in an area of the house. It's either it's a draft, or it's just not comfortable for the dog. Give the dog a lot to chew, different things to chew, just not only 1 or 2 boring things. They need a lot of different textures, tastes, and so on. And please give your puppy a choice to greet or not to greet other humans and dogs. This is one of the, I think, the main reasons why puppies, when they grow up and get into teenage mode, start being a bit wary about certain people or certain dogs, because they've been treated or handled by someone they don't feel comfortable with. And dogs learn by association, okay? And it's only fair, I think, that the dog should choose themselves if they want to be touched by someone. Okay. Mental activities is important. And yeah, sorry, my alarm clock from this morning is, I have to stop the alarm clock. It's too noisy. So this is a sausage tree or a pancake tree, whatever you can connect or place on the tree would be good. Obviously, kibbles is not working on the tree, but here is pancakes and hot dogs, and you can use, I've tried waffles as well. It's just a different thing. The smell is above, it's in above the puppy instead of on the ground. And again, the important thing with this is to not show the puppy where it is. Never do that. Let them find out, even if it takes 10 minutes. That is actually the best with using their sense of smell, is working out. It's not the goal, finding the treat, but getting there. That is the mental activity. Eating is not a mental activity. So, walks. As a general rule, puppies should not go for walks before they're 3 months old. And then very, very short walks on leash. So you can take your puppy to the beach and let it, you go on the beach, you're outside, you can sit down or lay down, and you have you can have a long, a very long lead, like 10, 20 meters or something. Or if you live in Norway, you can have the beach to yourself. Or you take your puppy and your other dogs, if you have other dogs as well. You go into the woods, you carry the puppy then, if you have a very young puppy, and you then let it down so it can walk around and explore while you are sitting in one or being in one area. That's how I did it when I had 5, 6 dogs and I got a puppy. The other dogs needed to get out. And then I brought the puppy with me, and we didn't go for a walk, but the other ones, the adult ones, they were off lead, so they could wander around the area. Of course, this depends on where you live. So if you live in the middle of London city centre and you don't have a car, that could be a problem. Okay, but you have to find out the best way of doing it without going for long walks with your dog, with your puppy. And then after it's 3 months, so from 3 months, you can take short walks on lead. I'm going to talk about physical exercise in just a moment. Let your puppy get used to wearing a harness. And harness is in red because we strongly recommend harness instead of collars. And let your puppy decide the pace. And smelling and using their brains, so mental activity, is as important as physical activities. And remember that your young puppy is also playing a lot, moving around in your garden or in your house or wherever you are. So it doesn't need exercise on top of that. It doesn't need like a jogging session in the afternoon. So physical exercise for a puppy is important. To stretch, to move its body, to do different, soft, nice movements that your dog is choosing. So stretching. So that's why an enriched environment where with something on the ground that it can either climb, climb over, walk over. Like you can have sticks on the ground, and you can have treats amongst the sticks. Sorry, I don't have any pictures of this. And then they can move around where the sticks are, so they need to concentrate on their movements. This is good physical exercise for puppies. This is not my personal area, because I am a behaviorist. I'm interested in problem behavior. So Julia Robertson from Gall Myotherapy, she is the one teaching that on our dog trainer school. So that's why she has all the pictures and great lectures about it. However, moving in the pace chosen by the puppy and moving in different, walking slow. It doesn't have to run. Maybe it was a bit stupid of me to have a picture of Wilma running, because I don't mean that physical exercise is running. Also remember that when puppies meet and they play, if they're chasing each other, that is not exercise, that's chase. That's not even play after a while. I mean, when they meet, they're very happy and they can chase for a couple of seconds, you know, and they stop and then they start playing, and playing is just a variety of different things they do. And they do have breaks when they play as well. They stop playing for a few seconds before they start again. That would be normal play. But if you take your puppy to a dog park with lots of dogs that don't know, and they're running after each other, so chasing, that is not play and not exercise. So don't do that. So they need to move. Don't ever say that Nordic dog trainers say that dogs should not move and use their body. It's just how they're using their body and how we're exercising them. Okay, so a few practicals for new puppy parents. When the puppy is between 6 to 12 weeks old, that's when they learn bite inhibition. So not what not to bite and how strong it's acceptable to bite when they're playing. And since we are doing this job, if we don't have any other dogs and your puppy left its mother and its other siblings, you have to do that job. So now you have to be as consistent as the mother of the puppy. So every time the puppy is trying to bite or chew, you need to exchange. So you need to give it something to chew instead of your hand. And I know this is easier said than done, but we have to do it just as well as we manage to do it. So that's another reason for having a mess in your house. You can easily grab something and give to the dog instead of biting your arm. You know what's really great fun for a puppy? It's this picture here. It's a puppy biting the trousers, and you are walking around the house trying to find the bone to exchange with. During those 2 minutes or walk around the house with your puppy hanging in your trousers, your puppy has got so much rewards for biting, and it's having a time of its life. So now you're rewarding the puppy. A reward in this case is, fun, nice. I'm chasing, I'm hunting and biting at the same time. Great. Yeah. So by walking away, I mean not walking away with the puppy connected to any body parts, but walk away just when you give something else to chew. Yeah. And the good news is that this is a behavior that always will stop, because when they get the new teeth, then this will naturally just stop because they're not itching. And remember also, when they are teething, when they're losing their puppy teeth and getting the other ones, it can be kind of irritating, maybe a bit painful. And then in that age, they might even bite more. That is normal. I mean, that's the consequence of feeling uncomfortable for the puppy. Okay, and you can have a pillow with a little hole in it, and then you can leave the living room for a little while, and then you have puppies that are bored. And this is the result. And whose fault is that? That's my fault. So they had a good time. That's fine. The pillow wasn't that expensive. So this was totally fine. But you can't expect to leave a puppy in a room alone with something it can chew on once it's started chewing on something. If you know that your puppy likes to chew on your chair or your couch or your nice rug, then you cannot leave the room expecting the puppy not to chew it. So instead, you can give the puppy other things, like a shoe. You can fill stockings or socks with treats or a little bit of food even. You can put those socks into boxes together with some paper, some toys, some whatever you have that can be chewed and is fine for you, and it's not dangerous, of course, for the puppy. And then you can give them this cardboard box with a lot of fun things in it, a lot of exciting smells. You can even, maybe you have a friend who's horse riding. Then maybe you can get like a cloth or something, an old t-shirt or a sock even, that you've been into the stables with. You can get objects that children's toys, for example, if you don't have children and you want your dog to also get socialized with children, smell is also a part of getting used to that. So borrow, or not borrow, because they might be broken, but get stuff from your friends and family as well into boxes. And then they can have a great time exploring that. And then when the dog is older, you can teach your dog to clean up the mess again. So it has something to do. Yeah. House training, very easy, but it can take some time. I mean, the rules is just, they're the same always. When your puppy has eaten, whenever it has eaten, drinking, playing, sleeping, resting, whatever, when it starts moving again, then you take it out. And the younger the puppy, the less time they can actually hold themselves. So in the beginning, you have to carry this puppy out all the time. It can take from 1 week to, I don't want to say this, but really, it can take a year. Yes, it can take a year. Your puppy or your dog is still normal. It's individual, and it's also how often were you, I mean, how much could you take your puppy, how consequent were you? Okay. If you live like my brother-in-law, he got a Chihuahua puppy. He lived on the 7th floor in Tromsø, one of the northernmost cities in Norway, and he got a Chihuahua puppy in the winter. So of course he couldn't take the lift downstairs before that little puppy had to pee. So he trained the puppy to pee outside on, he actually bought this thing for cats, can't remember, the tray that the toilet, cat toilet, and put it on the balcony. So he took the puppy out on the balcony. So first he trained the puppy to not pee inside, but in the cat toilet on the balcony. And then once the puppy was older and was able to hold himself, then they could take the lift downstairs and go outside. And it was not a problem. He still used less time than I used with my Wilma Bassett to get house clean. So reward as well every time they do something outside. Home alone training is, I think, very important, because this is something that can create a big problem later. If you have a dog that is afraid of being home alone, that is a scary thing for a dog. And that takes a lot of work. This is not too scary, but it's separation anxiety is a lot of work, because we can't train it only during weekends and then go to work on Monday. If your dog is now scared of being home alone, it will be scared on a Sunday and on a Monday. So that's why we really should invest some time in this home alone training. And home alone training, it starts with leaving, going into another room. That's how we start, going into another room and then coming back. It's all about leaving and coming back, so that the dog will be trained to know that you will come back. And we don't start the first week. Let the puppy follow you the first week. It's a new place, new environment. But when your puppy is a bit safer, feels more relaxed and comfortable in his new home, then you can go to the toilet, and yes, you can close the door. Yeah. And then little by little, you increase the time you're in another room, and then you can go outside and come back inside immediately. Something we don't even think about sometimes. Just go out with the garbage or something and come back inside. And the dog won't even know that you're gone in the beginning, hopefully. Yeah. So, and then you expand the time you're out of the house and then come back again. This is not natural for dogs to be left alone like this. It's not natural. So we have to help them getting used to it. Okay, very short about crates. It's I know I will probably lose some now, but according to myself, a Nordic dog trainer, it's not something we need. I managed 50 years with dogs without crates. If you want a crate without a door, fine. But now I'm talking about closed crates. And that's a whole other webinar as well. But for some reason, this has now, it's a controversial thing. I posted something on our Facebook page yesterday, and unfortunately, it's either yes or no. It's really, but we say definitely no. And there's so, now, the last hour I've been talking about the sleeping patterns, how social they are, feeling of safety, feeling choices, and all that. Okay, if you're going to use a crate and close the door, at least be honest and say that you're doing it for yourself. Yeah, because you're not doing it for the dog. The dog is not choosing. The dog can be taught very easily to be in a crate, because that's why we have dogs as our number one best friends. It's because they're so easy to train. But it doesn't mean, and if your dog loves the crate, then I don't see why you should close the door. Okay, so there is really no, and there's no evidence yet. And now they started doing studies on this, because in the beginning of 2000, and I can tell you that in 2003, that's the year when it started becoming very normal to use crates in Norway. Before that, no one asked for it. And I know that because I had 2 pet stores at the time. So in 2000, 2001, no one was asking for crates other than for their cars, for transportation. But in 2003, it started. So this is a new thing to make life easier for us. Okay. So to sum up, give the puppy time to get accustomed to you and the new environment. Be patient and enjoy, because it takes only a couple of months. They grow really, really quick. It's not 18 years like people. So try to enjoy, even though they have very sharp pariah teeth. I usually call it pariah teeth. Let the puppy explore and be curious. And again, don't stress. Dogs can teach us. They can teach us a lot about being more patient and less stressful. Take responsibility for your puppy and teach the puppy good habits that we need to know when living with us. And find good adult teachers. Don't all let your puppy play with only puppies. If you have the chance to find some good adult dogs that can help you raise the puppy, that's excellent. So again, I always mention this in webinars, but the dog's language, the calming signals and the distance increasing signals, is so important to know because it makes things so much easier. And it makes you, I would say that it makes your bond with your dog stronger because your dog will trust you more when you are doing the right things. So imagine you're a puppy and you're a little bit nervous about the surroundings, and then you try to tell your owner that I'm not feeling comfortable with this person picking me up or touching me. Her perfume is too strong. Her body language is very, what you call it? Yeah, it's not making me feel comfortable. If you ignore that, and you might ignore that like I did because I didn't know it, then what happens? Your puppy has to start trusting itself, and it has no other adult dogs to help them. So then your teenage dog might not make the same good decisions as a dog that has been having a good relationship with your owner, so the owner can protect the dog from these kind of things. I don't know if I made this very clear. Okay, so learn the language, please, please, please. Okay. If you want to, I'm just going to look at the time. Yes, we're fine. Learn more about this. We're starting our level 1 online course on Monday. It's a 20-week online course where we learn a lot more about the dog language. And Turid Rugås, the Norwegian author of the book on talking terms with dogs, she is the one teaching you. So you can't really get closer to the source than Turid Rugås. So in our online introduction course, it's all about the language and their natural behavior, which can help us when we are training the dog and we're teaching it new things. And how we can use our body language to train them and to help them out of situations, and introduction explaining about aggression, fear, and anxiety in dogs and how we can avoid that, stress in dogs, and problem solving. Not heavy case, that's more level 3, but this is more of puppy biting, more of walking nice on leash. That's a whole unit. Passing other dogs and humans when you're walking your dog. That's the number one problem I think we experience. And a little bit more about the puppy, and then the teenage dog and the senior dog. And then Amber Batson has a whole unit about pain and behavior, because it's very, very important to know about this. I've been doing most of the recordings. Turid, the author of Talking Terms with Dogs, she is doing a couple, but I can't remember, 2, 3, 4 now. Amber Batson, British veterinarian, she's doing Unit 10, Pain and Behavior. And Anne Lillkvam is also doing nose work now, a lecture on nose work and step-by-step guiding to different kind of nose work you can do with your dog. And she's doing a lecture about counter conditioning and desensitization, which is the methods that we use when we're doing problem solving, when we're helping dogs that have a problem. So we're actually putting more and more into the course now. Yeah, it's getting bigger, maybe longer. It's 20 weeks. So what happens is that on Monday, you get access to the first unit. And the following Monday, we have a live Q&A on Zoom like this, but only with the participants, obviously. And then you can ask your questions about the previous unit. And so it goes for 20 weeks. It's 10 units and 10 Q&As. And it's 350 euros. And now I don't know, but I had this great idea, and it's a 2-for-1 offer. Actually, it's 2-for-1. It's a 2-for-1 offer if you choose the full payment upon registration. We do offer part payment, but then it's not a 2-for-1 offer. Then you have the original price. But 2-for-1 means that you can either share the price with a friend or family member, or give it away for free. So when you do register, you fill in 2 names, both participants. So it's the reason why I wanted to do that was just to try and see, to have a good offer, and I want as many people as possible to learn about the dog language, to be honest. So instead of giving all of you 50% off, you need to find a friend. Okay? Yeah. And you can read more about it on our webpage, nordicdogtrainer.com, or send an email to me at mail@nordicdogtrainer.com. And I will post the link to our webpage and to the information page about level 1 just now when I stop sharing my PowerPoint. Whew, it's not very often that I can complain about being too hot in Norway, but now I'm really feeling okay. So I stopped sharing the PowerPoint now, and I can see the chat. So if you have any questions about puppies, I can try and answer them now. What do you think about a pen during the days I have? The day I have one for my pup, but it's large, so he can move and sleep in different places. I think a pen is better in any case than a crate. Okay, let me just get rid of my PowerPoint. And then I will just find a link. Actually, this is the link to the registration directly, but you can click on the registration and you can get to our web page. There. Okay. So yes, I think a pen is better than a crate. Jasper is writing, we have a 15-week-old Australian Labrador puppy. She's doing pretty well. When we put her in a fenced area in the living room, she's falling asleep very quickly. However, we don't put her in that area. She wants sleep in the living room. She's fine with sleeping in the kitchen. Do you have any tips that would help our puppy to find her own sleep when she needs it? But aren't you saying, however, if we don't put her in that area, she won't sleep in the living room, she's fine with sleeping in the kitchen? Wouldn't that be the answer then? To just let her choose where to sleep? Or am I misunderstanding something? If you have, in general, and Jasper as well, this is very difficult for me to answer like individual, of course, individual puppies now. But if your puppy has a problem resting and sleeping, if it's constantly waking up and it's more restless, then the chances are that it's overstimulated in some way. Very rarely understimulated. Rarely. Definitely for everyone showing up on webinars on the internet, I can assure you that I've never had anyone that is not, you are probably doing a lot with your good things with your dog, but maybe sometimes it's too much for the dog. Or it can be of health reasons, like it's uncomfortable or having pain somewhere, or it can be itching, an allergy or something. But for puppies, very often We need to find that, and this is so individual, you need to find that balance between the right amount of physical and mental behavior. And simple things like the diet has a lot to do about it as well. So maybe you have to change the puppy's diet. You could try from kibbles to raw feeding or something. That has helped a lot of people. So that could be a reason. You have to, I think we need to get as much information about how our dogs and puppies are behaving naturally. What is natural behavior? How would they typically be? So just knowing that they need between 16 and 20 hours of sleep, that's a good thing to know, right? Imagine if we didn't know that. So the more we know, the more we can see and test if we have the right amount of physical and mental activities and sleep and rest and the right diet and so on, to have that good balance. Okay, 7 messages. So we have 15 minutes left for our Q&A, only because I have to go to the grocery shopping. I'm sorry about that, but like I explained in the beginning of the webinar, it's because of the very warm weather. And my senior dog has separation anxiety, so she has to be coming in the car. And this is because this is something that she got with age. My Aussie pup, Tanya is writing, my Aussie pup, 4 months, gets always so excited when visitors come to my house or when we're sitting with visitors in the garden. When I go on a walk in the neighborhood, he does the same when we're meeting neighbors and we have a chat. He jumps on them, and when we are in the garden, he begins to run around and around. Yes, I would suggest teaching him something we call an attention sound. Attention sound. That's something we teach at level 1, but it's a sound. It's not a command or a word. It's a sound we train the dog to listen to prevent the dog from jumping. Or when it comes to jumping, you can also try and use your body language, standing with your back against the dog, but it has to be constantly against the dog. So you have to move. Your dog will be moving around, so you have to move so that the back is against. So in a way, ignoring the dog then. Jumping, a lot of times we also actually reward them for jumping by talking to them, just like puppy biting. You know, when we go, ow, no, ow, that hurts, blah, blah, blah. That's a great reward for a lot of puppies as well, because it's fun. They see it as a fun time. It's like play to them. Yeah. So you need to help teach your dog that they can't jump on, but it's only 4 months old. So with that young dog, I would ask the people to actually sit down and let the puppy come and greet them. So why make it difficult when you can make it easy? So with that size dog, that age, I would sit down. I would always sit down, by the way, if they want to come and greet me. That will be my suggestion. Sit down and let the puppy greet you. Learn the hand signal. I'm going to talk about on Sunday. I'm doing the free webinar Back to Basics, talking about the hand signal. That's something you can do as well. So it's a lot of things we can do using our body language when we're training them, which makes it so much easier. What would you suggest to keep your puppy safe during night? That's easy. I have them in my bed because then I wake up when they have to go, when he or she has to go to the toilet. It's easier for me to wake up. I can take him or her out. Yeah, I've seriously never had a problem with anything dangerous happening. I mean, the only thing I can think of is, of course, what you call it, can't remember the word in English, electricity. Yeah. But it's not very common that they bite at sockets and what do you call this? Cables.
Power cord, yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. So, yeah, my advice is keep him in your bed or stay on the floor. Move your bed somewhere else where it's okay. It's not a problem to teach your puppy when it's a little older not to sleep in your bed if you don't want your dog to sleep in your bed when it's older. It can take 2 or 3 nights, but I think it's absolutely worth it. Jasper's saying that she wants sleep when we're sitting in the living room. She only sleeps when we sit in the kitchen. Okay, since she wants to go to sleep next to us, she won't go to the kitchen on her own. Okay, yeah. She only sleeps when she's... So she feels safer in the kitchen then. I can't remember how old she was now, but then you have to sit more in the kitchen than when she's a puppy, and maybe find out if there is a reason, or it could be just a phase, yeah, that lasts for a short period of time. I don't know if this is something that just started or if it's been like that all the time. But then you would have to, I would make my kitchen my living area for it, like be more in the kitchen so my dog would sleep. I would choose that. Victoria is writing, I have an 11-week border collie. I tried to put him to sleep in a pen. Before he was fine, but now he started barking. Should I let him out or ignore him? A small problem is that I put him there at around 22:40, but my housemate comes home after 23. If my puppy was asleep, it is awake now and wants to greet the person. Should I let him out or no? If I do let him out, he might start to be super active and not stop bite. I would let him out. You can't tell small children or puppies to sit still and sleep, or anyone sleep now. No, so let him out. And then your housemate comes home. Yes, then you have maybe 20 minutes of play and greeting, and then he goes back to bed, hopefully. You mentioned, I think, giving puppies a lot of choices to play with toys or choose, and then they can clean up. Yes, am I correct? Wow. Yes, we can teach dogs to pick things up. It's not that difficult. You teach your dog to pick up things. You start with the teddy bear or some toy that your dog has, and then you could teach them, leave it or let go, whatever command you use, orange, apple, doesn't matter, into a box. Yeah. And that's nice things to do, isn't it? To do something together. First you play, and then you need to do the cleaning up afterwards. Hanneke is writing, my 13-month-old German Shepherd, which is now a teenage dog, recently peed twice on the bed of my adult German Shepherd. The young dog is home trained very well, so I assume my young dogs did this on purpose. Oh, but your 13-month, yeah. First of all, it's as a rule of thumb. If your dog is not peeing inside or doing anything inside for 6 months, then you can safely say they're house trained. But there can still be accidents. And this is a 13-month-old dog, which is now in his teenager. So if it's a male dog, he can have as much as 5 times more testosterone in his body. and maybe he learned how to, mark and stand proudly on 3 legs, and I don't know. But this is a whole other webinar about young dogs. Why he did it, I have no idea. Could be many reasons. It does not have to be, it's a problem behavior as such. It's more likely like, yeah, I wouldn't be concerned about it at all. If he starts peeing in the same place, then you need to teach him. You need to teach him the attention sound. You need to somehow prevent the unwanted behavior. And again, that's another webinar. Sorry about that. I was thinking that I quite like this webinar, so I will do better in the fall, and I do more of these webinars. And not once a week like I did before, because that was just too much when I have same thing in Norwegian and I have other things to do. But maybe once a month or something. So if you already have subscribed to one of our email lists or something, then I will send this information about free webinars to those of you who are on our lists. Okay, I'm a little bit stressed myself now because I have to go. I love talking, but I have to go to do my grocery shopping, and the sun just went down behind the mountains, which means that I can safely now start driving the 40 minutes to the grocery shop with my dogs without it being too hot in the car. Okay, thank you everyone for joining. It was a lot more people than I thought would show up. And like I said, it's streamed live on our Facebook, so you can share it with others as well. And remember the 2-for-1 offer, which for sure I'm not going to do again. It is a once in a lifetime opportunity for our level 1 2-for-1 offer. And we start on Monday. If you have any questions, send me an email to nordicdogmail@nordicdogtrainer.com. Okay. Thank you, Janne, as well. See you on Monday. Audrey. Oh yeah, okay. I thought it was another Audrey. Sorry, I'm confused now. Thank you everyone for attending, for very good questions. Sorry I can't answer, but I'm sure you understand why I can't answer each and every one of you, because I haven't met the puppy. So have a very nice evening, and on Sunday I'm doing the Back to Basic webinar again. And I'm talking a little bit about the hand signal there as well. Hand signal. Sina, Monday, I guess, yeah, it's Audrey from Belgium. I know an Audrey from the Netherlands, so I thought it might be that Audrey, because I'm seeing her next Sunday in a meeting. That's why I got confused. Sina, Monday, starting level 1, a new level 1, but you already been to level 1, so okay. Have a very nice evening. Bye from Norway. Bye.